no more, but it's cool. I don't need to waste my time no more. I don't need to waste my numbers no more. Do you want to with me? Follow my Twitch, because we're not doing this no.
Baby, Blueface and Jaidyn just turned a security guard rumor into a full-blown reality TV explosion, and the internet is sitting there like, wait, you did what? With who? On whose time? Because the second Blueface started pressing Jaidyn over this alleged tourside mess, the energy went from casual couple tension to Zeus reunion security needed chaos, and suddenly everybody became a detective with Wi-Fi screenshots and too much free time. Jaidyn looked like she walked straight into a verbal trap. Blueface was acting like Judge Judy with face tattoos. And the comment section was already pulling out folding chairs like WWE just announced a surprise match. And of course, because this is Blueface's universe, Chrisean's name somehow floated into the drama like a ghost that refuses to leave the group chat. Because fans immediately started comparing how messy things get whenever his relationships collide with loyalty, ego, and public embarrassment. 1 minute it is Jaidyn defending herself, the next minute people are saying Chrisean would have flipped the whole building upside down. And now the timeline is divided like a Marvel multiverse of bad decisions. But the wildest part is not even the rumor itself. Because what Blueface said next made everybody realize this argument was way deeper than one security guard. Now the mess did not just fall out of the sky like some random Tuesday Emba harassment, because Blueface and Jaidyn already had the kind of relationship history that makes every little side comment feel like a courtroom confession. The second that security guard situation got brought up, the vibe shifted from regular couple arguing to a full Netflix episode where everybody in the room knows something, but nobody wants to say it. Blueface was not asking questions like a calm man trying to understand the timeline. He was asking like somebody who had already built the case, printed the evidence, and was just waiting for Jaidyn to slip up. And Jaidyn, whether she meant to or not, walked straight into that pressure cooker with the internet watching from the glass window like nosy neighbors at a police scene. What made the argument explode was not just the alleged security guard mention. It was the way Blueface reacted, like the disrespect had somehow packed his suitcase and moved into his house. He was giving that "so you really thought I wasn't going to hear about this" energy, while Jaidyn looked like she was trying to survive a pop quiz in front of millions of people. The whole thing felt messy because it was not some quiet relationship issue handled behind closed doors. It became public entertainment, and the timeline treats public embarrassment like free popcorn. 1 second fans were trying to figure out what actually happened, and the next second everybody was already choosing teams like this was the Super Bowl of toxic romance. And that is where the drama started getting sticky, because once Blueface starts questioning loyalty, the conversation never stays simple. It always becomes a full family-sized scandal platter. Jaidyn's name was trending in comments, fans were dragging up old moments, and people started connecting dots that may or may not even belong in the same coloring book. The security guard part became the headline, but the real fuel was the history, because Blueface and Jaidyn have already been through enough public chaos for fans to recognize the warning signs. It was not just who was the guy, it was why does this keep turning into a public humiliation Olympics every time feelings get involved? The wild part is how quickly Chrisean got pulled into the conversation without even needing to be in the room, because with Blueface, the internet never lets one woman's drama stand alone. Fans immediately started comparing reactions, saying Chrisean would have turned that argument into a live-action tornado, while others argued Jaidyn handled it differently because her role in Blueface's world has always been complicated. That comparison alone poured gasoline on the whole situation, because now it was no longer just about Jaidyn and the alleged security guard. It was about Blueface's pattern with women. And once people started talking patterns, the comment section stopped joking and started acting like a reality TV jury with screenshots as exhibits. Blueface's tone made everything feel heavier because he was not just teasing. He sounded like a man trying to make Jaidyn answer for something that embarrassed him publicly. That is why the clip hit so hard, because fans could feel the tension underneath the words, like there was more going on than what was being said out loud. Jaidyn was stuck in that uncomfortable space where defending herself too hard could make her look guilty, but staying too quiet could make everybody think Blueface had caught her clean. It was the kind of argument where every pause felt suspicious, every laugh felt forced, and every side-eye looked like it came with a receipt attached. And of course, the internet did what the internet always does. It turned one messy relationship conversation into a full-blown investigation with dramatic music nobody asked for. People started replaying the clip, slowing down facial expressions, comparing body language, and acting like they graduated from the University of Toxic Couple Analysis with honors. Some fans were screaming that Blueface had no room to question anybody after everything people have watched him do publicly, while others said Jaidyn should have known better than to give the timeline another weapon. Meanwhile, the Chrisean references kept sliding into the conversation like a recurring villain in a Marvel movie who refuses to stay gone. What made the build-up even messier was the emotional double standard sitting right in the middle of their room, because fans were not just reacting to the alleged card drama, they were reacting to Blueface acting shocked by chaos. The same man whose relationship history has looked like a zoo's backstage hallway after 3 reunion fights was suddenly demanding explanations like the mayor of Morality Town. That is why the sarcasm online was brutal, because people were saying, "Now everybody wants loyalty when the camera is on them," and honestly, the timeline was not whispering it politely. Jaidyn became the main character of the moment, but Blueface's own history was standing behind him like a giant unpaid bill still. The reason this story had people locked in was because it had every ingredient of viral drama. Needs, jealousy, embarrassment, public pressure, old relationship baggage, and Chrisean's name hovering over everything like thunder before a storm. Jaidyn was not just being questioned about a rumor. She was being placed inside a bigger conversation about loyalty, image, and who gets embarrassed when the mess finally spins around. Blueface may have thought he was checking her, but the internet started checking him right back. And that is when the whole situation stopped being a simple argument. Because once fans realized the security guard drama could expose way more than Jaidyn's alleged choices, the story started looking less like a fight and more like the beginning of a collapse. Then the escalation hit like somebody kicked open the Zeus reunion doors and yelled, "Everybody with unresolved feelings, come to the stage immediately," because the moment that clip started moving around, fans stopped treating it like a private argument and turned it into a public trial. Blueface pressing Jaidyn over the alleged security guard situation became the kind of drama people replay not because they are confused, but because they want to catch the exact second somebody's confidence leaves their body. The comments were brutal, the reactions were fast, and the jokes started stacking up so high it looked like the internet was building a messy little skyscraper out of embarrassment. Everybody had a theory, everybody had a timeline, and everybody suddenly became qualified in relationship forensics. The funniest part was how the internet refused to let Blueface stand in the judge's chair without dragging his own record into evidence, because fans were not about to watch him act shocked by chaos like he has been living in a peaceful Disney Channel household. People were saying this man has been connected to enough public drama to fill a whole streaming service. Yet now he wanted to ask Jaidyn questions with the confidence of somebody running a loyalty seminar. That contradiction made the whole argument 10 times messier, because viewers were not just asking what Jaidyn did, they were asking why Blueface looked so stunned when the circus music started playing back at him. It was giving the magician forgot the rabbit could bite, and the timeline was eating it up. And then came the Chrisean comparisons. Because the internet has never seen a Blueface situation and decided to leave Chrisean out of it. Like responsible adults, fans started saying Chrisean would have reacted completely differently. Some joking she would have turned the security guard conversation into a WWE steel cage match before the first sentence finished. Others argued that Jaidyn's calmer reaction made the situation even more suspicious, Because when somebody stays to composed in a messy argument, people start reading silence like it is a leaked text message. That is when the discussion split into two chaotic camps. The ones dragging Jaidyn for the alleged situation, and the ones dragging Blueface for acting like karma accidentally knocked on the wrong door, though. Memes were absolutely unhinged too. Because once the internet smells embarrassment, it starts cooking like Gordon Ramsay with no supervision. People were posting fake courtroom sketches, imaginary security guard interviews, dramatic reaction faces, and captions acting like Blueface had just discovered a Marvel-level betrayal in the middle of his own toxic cinematic universe. Blueface's reaction carried two energies at once. One part offended man, one part reality show executive producer who knows this kind of tension keeps everybody watching. He seemed pressed enough to make the moment feel real, but public enough, with it to make fans wonder whether the drama was emotional, strategic, or both. Jaidyn, meanwhile, got trapped in the impossible internet position where every facial expression turned into a confession and every response got translated into guilt, denial, or damage control. It was giving internet courtroom energy where the jury is unemployed, the judge is biased, and the evidence is a blurry clip with 900 comments screaming different conclusions. And because this is Blueface's orbit, the situation also reopened the old debate about how women around him keep getting thrown into competition, comparison, and public chaos like they are stuck in a never-ending reality TV draft pick. Chrisean gets mentioned, Jaidyn gets judged, Neve might catch a stray in the comments. And suddenly the whole timeline is debating loyalty like anybody in this saga has been living by a clean handbook. Cave fans were pointing out how quickly the conversation shifted from one alleged guard situation into a bigger conversation about respect, power, embarrassment, and who gets protected when the cameras are rolling. That is why the drama felt heavier than the original rumor, because it touched every messy nerve in the Blueface universe. By the time the reactions reached full volume, the story had already turned into something bigger, louder, and harder to control than a simple "you did what" argument. The internet was not just laughing anymore, it was watching for cracks. Because moments like this usually come before somebody goes live, somebody posts receipts, somebody cries foul, or somebody tries to flip the whole narrative before sunrise. Blueface may have started off checking Jaidyn, but the second Chrisean's name entered the conversation, the audience started checking everybody, and that is when the temperature changed. Because if this security guard drama was only the surface, then what was hiding underneath might be the real reason everybody suddenly looked so nervous after the clip started making its rounds. The aftermath felt less like a normal argument and more like somebody accidentally shook the whole Blueface universe until every loose secret fell out of the ceiling. Jaidyn was suddenly stuck in the worst position possible. Because even people who did not know the full context were already judging her like the security guard rumor came with sworn testimony and a co-Artrum stamp. Blueface, meanwhile, looked like he wanted the public to see him checking the situation, but the public did what it always does and checked him right back with 1,000 old examples. The drama became less about one alleged moment and more about whether anybody in this circle actually gets to act surprised. When chaos finally starts returning their mail, Jaidyn's reputation took the first direct hit. Because once the internet attaches a messy headline to your name, it does not gently set it down, it drags it through every comment section wearing steel-toe boots. Some fans were acting like this confirmed every suspicion they already had, while others felt like she was being embarrassed for entertainment in a relationship dynamic that has always looked publicly unstable. That is what made the fallout uncomfortable. Because behind all the jokes, memes, and fake trial edits, there was still a real person getting turned into a trending topic. And when the internet decides your facial expression is evidence, your silence is guilt, and your response is damage control, winning becomes almost impossible. But Blueface did not exactly walk away spotless either, because the more he pushed, The issue, the more fans remembered his own messy relationship record sitting in the corner like an unpaid parking ticket. People started saying he could not demand loyalty like a royal decree while his history has been giving reality TV villain origin story for years. That is where the power shifted. Because what may have started as him confronting Jaidyn slowly turned into the public asking why every woman connected to him ends up in some public emotional gladiator arena. Suddenly, the security guard drama was not just a scandal, it became another chapter in a pattern fans swear they have been watching unfold for way too long. And then Chrisean's mention made the entire fallout heavier, because her name carries enough history in this saga to change the temperature instantly. The second fans brought her into it. The conversation stopped being about Jaidyn alone and turned into a messy comparison between Reacti, On's loyalty, public embarrassment, and who Blueface really treats differently when things get ugly. Some people said Chrisean would have made the confrontation explode immediately, while others argued that the fact she was even being mentioned proved nobody has moved on from that chaotic triangle. It was like the ghost of every past argument walked into the room wearing sunglasses and said, "Oh, y'all thought this was over." The alliances online started shifting in strange ways too. Because some viewers who normally roast Jaidyn suddenly felt bad watching her get grilled, while some who normally defend Blueface were side-eyeing his outrage like it came with missing context. That is how messy this story became, because nobody could fully pick a side without stepping into somebody else's contradiction. It had the confusion of a Kardashian dinner table, the intensity of a WWE betrayal promo, and the emotional logic of a Zeus backstage hallway where everybody is yelling but nobody is explaining the first question. Fans were not just reacting anymore, they were rearranging the whole map of who looked loyal, who looked exposed, and who looked exhausted. The biggest consequence is that this argument may have cracked the image Blueface and Jaidyn were trying to maintain, because once public trust gets bruised, every future move gets examined under a microscope. If Jaidyn posts calmly, people will call it damage control. If she jokes, they will say she is deflecting, and if she goes quiet, they will assume the rumor hit harder than she wants to admit. Blueface also has a problem, because if he keeps pressing her publicly, fans may accuse him of humiliating her. But if he drops it too fast, people will swear there is more he does not want exposed. That is the trap with viral drama, because once the audience gets involved, they start writing the next episode before the cast even wakes up. And the unexpected twist is that the security guard situation may not even be the real story. It may just be the messy little door that opened into a bigger room full of resentment. The way Blueface reacted, the way Jaidyn responded, and the way Chrisean's name slipped into the conversation all made fans wonder whether this argument had been building long before the clip surfaced. Maybe the alleged guard drama was just the spark, while the real fire was jealousy, embarrassment, old wounds, and the pressure of trying to perform a relationship in front of an audience that loves the downfall more than the love story. Because when everybody is laughing, nobody wants to admit they might actually be watching something fall apart. So now the internet is waiting, because this kind of drama never ends cleanly. It just changes outfits and comes back louder. Somebody might go live, somebody might drop a shady post, somebody might deny everything with a smile that looks a little too rehearsed. And somebody might finally say the one detail everyone has been dancing around. Blueface may have checked Jaidyn over the alleged security guard mess, but the real question is whether he accidentally exposed a crack big enough for the whole relationship narrative to split open. And if Chrisean's name is already floating around the ashes, then the next chapter might not be about what Jaidyn did at all, but what Blueface is still not saying. Now listen. If you made it this far, you already know this security guard drama did not come with seatbelts, emotional maturity, or anybody's PR team doing cardio fast enough to catch it. So go ahead and smash that like button like it owes you money, because Blueface checking Jaidyn, Jaidyn trying not to look cornered. And Chrisean's name floating through the mess like a haunted receipt is exactly the kind of chaos. The timeline pretends to hate but replays 5 times before breakfast. And be honest in the comments, because I need to know if you think Blueface had a right to press Jaidyn, or if the internet was right to drag his own history right back into the courtroom. Also, subscribe to Fame Flaws, because this drama is clearly not done stretching, twisting, and acting brand new every time somebody opens their mouth online. Turn on those notifications too, because the next update might come from a live, a shady post, a receipt drop, or somebody accidentally telling the truth while trying to be sarcastic. And around here, we do not just watch the mess, we inspect it, season it, roast it, and serve it back with extra side-eye. This has been Fame Flaws, where the fame looks pretty, the flaws get loud, and the drama always finds a way to embarrass everybody involved.